You're welcome back, and many thanks for staying with us. Now, the Coalition for Domestic Election Observers, CODEO, has added its voice to incessant calls for the immediate disbandment of vigilante groups in the country. According to CODEO, the two main political parties, NDC and NPP, are largely responsible for the creation of militarized politically affiliated groups in Ghana. Co-chair of CODEO, Miranda Greenstreet, describes their activities as a threat to the country's electoral development.
The leadership of the New Patriotic Party and the National Democratic Congress, who are largely responsible for the emergence of these groups in the Fourth Republic, should own up to their responsibilities and work together with the police to disband politically affiliated vigilante groups. The police should be part and parcel of disbanding these vigilante groups. But it seems as though because the Inspector General of Police is appointed by the government of the day, they somehow, that's what we think, they somehow feel reluctant to go after the people who are committing these crimes. And that is why the recommendation has been made that the Inspector General of Police should be appointed in a consultative, transparent manner, but across various elections and on a non-political party basis, so that he or she can be independent and help enforce the laws as they should be enforced. But if you enforce the law and tomorrow you can be sacked, maybe you become cautious about the enforcement of the law. And that is why we have made this recommendation. Maybe the person won't be sacked, but the IGP may be cautious in enforcing the law because he or she is worried about his tenure.
Madam Greenstreet there. Well, these recommendations are among several issues contained in CODEO's communique on Ghana's 2016 presidential and parliamentary elections. Now, co-chair again of CODEO, Justice VCRAC Crab, highlighted the need for the 6-month duration for campaigns to be reduced to 4 months to address excess funding for the election during the electioneering period.
The Commission's lack of transparency and engagement with political parties and candidates on some electoral processes, for example, the debacle over the disqualification of some presidential candidates during the candidate registration process, could have been avoided if the Electoral Commission had adopted a more transparent and engaging approach. Fees set for candidates obtaining accreditation for domestic election observers and media were arbitrary. For example, filing fee of 50,000 Ghana cedis for the presidential and 10,000 Ghana cedis for the parliamentary election in 2016 was too high. Issues of exclusion still remain in terms of opportunities for women in the political and media space during elections. Female candidates' access to media was generally limited. However, women did not fully utilize the few media opportunities gained or granted to them to articulate their views and issues. Vote buying and selling. The Electoral Commission should fully implement continuous registration in collaboration with stakeholders, including political parties, the National Identification Authority, Birth and Death Registry, district assemblies, non-governmental organizations to take appropriate steps to clean the voter register. Political parties must take seriously all phases of voter registration. of the voter registration exercise, particularly during the exhibition of the provisional register of voters. In the short term, the Electoral Commission must consider the appropriate scientific and internationally acceptable methodology for auditing the current voter register to ascertain particular areas of challenge for redress. In the medium to long term, the Commission, working with the National Identification Authority and other state biodata collecting and storage agencies, to develop a more reliable and credible voter register and eventually compile a new register. Enforcing electoral laws. The Electoral Commission, the Inter-Party Advisory Committee, and stakeholders should work together to amend PNDC Law 284 to set a 6-month period for campaigning during each year of presidential and general elections as part of efforts to minimize cost, check incumbency, abuse, and help regulate campaign financing.
VCRAC crop there. Well, let's look at the issue of disbanding vigilante groups. In the studio with me now is member of CODEO's advisory board, Sheikh Shaibu. Thank you very much, sir, for passing through.
Thank you so much.
First of all, let me just take your quick reaction to what the Minister of National Security says. In his opinion, and he's made that known in Parliament today, there are no such vigilante groups to be disbanded. So what are we talking about here? What the CODEO is talking about, is it the same as what the minister is referring to?
Well, as I listened to it, I got a bit surprised, but I appreciated his position also. Probably he is talking more from a legal point of view, that a certain group that has a legal existence, registered, and so therefore a certain action, legal procedure can be taken to disband it. Probably that's the way, because some of the politicians themselves, in the way they speak, indicate that they themselves do not form those bodies, but that they are aware that they are there.
But they don't just form or not just aware of their presence. They work with them. They use them.
That is it. In other words, they did not deliberately put them there, but that, like if you take the Azoka boys, for example, in other words, these are groups that hover around a certain personality within the party, but that they work to the advantage of the party. That is the reality but that over time they transform and become a vigilante wing of the parties. So I think that we should not politicize this issue and live with this issue as a reality. In fact, at the workshop, politicians themselves agreed that they represent a certain threat even to the existence of the political parties themselves. They are going to be consumed by the ravages that follow the activities of. They also indicated that even given the genesis of it, the reason was that a certain situation of intimidation was used, and in self-defense, one party or the other now mobilizes these people so that at a time of need, they come to their defense. And then gradually they have become a certain structure within the political party. So we are saying that whether they are a legal group, whether they are formed by individuals, they are now known to be part of the political realities of our country, and that something must be done about it. So one, we want to use law, using the security agencies, the police, to do that. Secondly, that the political parties themselves, who now agree that these entities are with them, should take the lead in making sure that they are abandoned, so that whether they, out of conscience they work that, but that law must also take its own course to get them out completely.
If you say that you're using the security to do this, you're using security agencies and you're using the political parties themselves, how?
Yeah, what we are saying is that, well, if the political parties will not do what is expected, what is right, the political parties know in their minds, in their conscience, that it is wrong. They know that it's a threat. In fact, in the aftermath of this election, some of the things that we saw is a clear indication of the dangers of these vigilante groups.
We know the dangers, but right now you have a Minister of National Security telling you that, well, what you, Kodeo, are talking about, the vigilante, whatever that you are talking about, we do not know any such thing.
I think it's most unfortunate if we go along that line. That's why I'm saying that we should not politicize it. The minister must be courageous and confront this reality that we don't register thieves or murderers. We don't register them. They are not legal entities, and yet when they engage in the crime, our security apparatus, the police, for example, will have to take action and deal with them. Once they are a danger and a threat to the security of our country, the minister must take the bull by the horn and let's say, look, they are a danger to our security and we have to deal with them. These legal jargons need to be put aside and deal with the issue as a living reality that we must confront.
Is Kodeo, I don't know if Kodeo has already heard what the minister said, because he said it in the morning when Kodeo was having his meeting as well. That will be at the same time. Are you, as a member of Kodeo, who has heard what he says, disappointed?
Yeah, actually, because as we were there, we have never heard that he has made this. So,
now you have.
So it came to me as, let me say, a disappointment, a shock. For me, it's indicative of our lack of commitment to deal with the issue headlong. It's a truth that we must have the courage to deal with. And I'm happy that I will say that the politicians who participated, actually, I would say we're honest to mention that these things are with us and we know how they emerged. And as politicians, we must deal with it. So if you take politicians themselves at the party level, then you say, okay, look, out of conscience, let's do something about this. But the fact that they represent a security threat to our country, law must deal with them. And we want to encourage the minister, actually, to use all the force at his disposal, all the legal tools that he has at his disposal, to help in disbanding this group. They are not good for our country.
Well, it's a matter of conscience, the way you put it. But is the Kodeo going to go as an extra mile, take an extra step in dealing with this, rather than, you know, the engagement of the other political parties? Is there anything available, any options available to you?
I think so, because it didn't come to us at the time. We had not taken a decision. But if you ask my opinion, I think that opportunities are available for us to do something about this.
Okay.
I mean, Kodeo Advisory Board can have an engagement with the minister, for example. And I think that that opportunity is there.
Okay. Some
engagement, probably can we understand ourselves and push it. We can also still, because we have a very healthy working relationship with the EC itself, we can engage with the EC further, and also the IPAC is still there. We engage with the politicians again. And I'm sure that we will have a certain meeting point where all of us will agree. One, we agree that it's a living reality. Two, it's a threat to our security and the peace of our country. And three, there's the need for us to abandon them, to get them off our... And I think that we can agree on these three notes.
So the politicians that the Kodeo has engaged in the compilation of your report admit to the existence of such groups, but the minister, of course, doesn't.
Yeah, the minister was not there, you know, so probably it's a matter of opinion, matter of interpretation. Probably he's also treading cautiously, probably, and he doesn't want a situation where somebody will raise a certain legal issue, and so therefore, as if he's saying that, how do you disband something which is non-existent? That's exactly his language.
I see.
Legally, they are not existent, so what do I do to disband them? But that is contrary to the reality that we are living with. The vigilante are a reality. In fact, they are militant in the way they do their things. They have a commitment to defend their parties. And doing so, they do it with all loyalty. And they have a certain sense that they have even the backing of their party. And in reality, it's
but
the case.
they do, because when you listen to some of the
Exactly.
comments coming from the parties,
exactly.
they do.
So, but I'm happy that now a certain action is being taken in the Ashanti region. At least it set a certain signal.
Which action are you talking about?
I'm talking about the arrest of some of the
Well, on the back of that, let me just tell you, information that we're getting right now is that members of the Delta forces have attacked a circuit court, to free their 13 members who were picked up. We're waiting for more information on that from our correspondent, by the way, but that's the latest.
I think that you see, once they are violating this, taking somebody to court is not a crime. It's only been taken through certain legal procedure to ascertain whether what he did was right or wrong, and the legal consequence of it will be pronounced by whoever is the judge. They have to be law-abiding. You see, I think that there's a certain trend of indiscipline, which politicians themselves are giving rise to by allowing these bodies. You see, the dangers are so great, and we must all agree. Now, for example, if you have a group now who can go and attack a whole, legal institution, our court, where we all take recourse to in case we are all abused in certain cases, we need them. We need the police. We cannot live in a society today where our courts are absent, our police are absent, or we weaken them and we incapacitate them. We endanger our own selves. And this level of indiscipline needs to be handled. And I think political parties, especially those in government now, must take a second look at how they treat them. Right. Sometimes they themselves must come out and deal with them headlong and allow some of them to be prosecuted.
Allow them to be prosecuted.
And then send a signal to their own people.
Thank you very much, sir, for passing through. Sheikh Shaibu Arimiyao is a member of the advisory board of CODEO, the election observers, sharing his thoughts about vigilante groups. Now, the CODEO's position right now is that disband the vigilante groups. The minister says, well, we don't know what you're talking about, but he believes that they know and that something will be done about that. We're talking about attacks, militarized people, etc. The Tema Regional Police Command has launched investigations into the robbery attack on a former MCE for Ashaiman, Honorable Ibrahim Beidu, which happened yesterday evening. The MCE is said to have been on his way from a meeting in Tema with some NDC members, but was shot beneath his right eye when he was entering his house at Tema Community 22. The suspects are 3 armed men who were on a motorbike with locally made pistols, and they took away the MCE's blue-black Chrysler saloon vehicle, registered GN 201516. The MCE is said to be responding to treatment at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, where we can get an update from the MP for the area. Ernest Nogbe has been with him at that hospital. Hello, sir. Thank you very much for your time here on the Pulse.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you and your viewers.
What is his condition at this time?
Oh, he's very well, very kicking. I think there's no cause for alarm at all. I'm thinking that by the close of the day, they would come home, actually.
Okay.
So he's very well. Very well.
Has this affected his eye? Is he able to see?
Oh, yeah, he's able to see. It's just, should I term it a minor injury? Looking at the gravity of the event, I think this should be a minor injury. He's well, healthy and kicking, the eyes and all. Just that he has a little bit swollen part of the left eye, yeah. Just a little swollen there, but I think the doctors are examining it, and from what we are gathering, from what I have seen personally, he can see, but I don't know the medical point of view yet. He's well, actually.
We know the police is looking into this, but in the meantime, what are your own assessments of the situation?
Well, it's unfortunate we can't come out with any this thing yet, but we are only looking at the security nature in our community, because I will not go into that. We have to look at how security is enhanced in our community around the Community 22 over there. It's a residential area, and I know the police are doing very well to be visible around the area, but still these attacks and other things are occurring there. we cannot. People are linking this particular incident to our meeting yesterday, but I want to state on authority that it has nothing to do with our meeting with the Contributory Committee yesterday, not at all. We had a very fruitful meeting. Everybody was able to say what he or she has at heart. That brought us to where we are now. And at the end of the day, our meeting was supposedly to be one of the most peaceful meeting ever during this particular venture. So we cannot, not under any circumstances, link this particular incident to or with the meeting yesterday. But all the same, we just have
in other words, there are no political linkages to this attack, you say?
To a large extent, especially at yesterday's incident. We don't want to. I don't think there's any political linkage to it. If it will be not because of our meeting yesterday, as some media houses are purporting.
Well, we'll get more information from the police on that. But now that we know he's doing well, we'll leave you on that. Thank you very much, sir, for your time here on the show. Well, the Tema police is meanwhile appealing to the general public to help with information that could lead to the arrest of the perpetrators. We can now speak to Tema Police PRO, ASP Juliana Obing. Hello, ma'am. Thank you very much for your time here on the Pulse.
Yeah, hi. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, fellas.
Right. Are there any updates on the perpetrators of this attack?
Unfortunately, no, but the good news is that the victim is responding quickly to treatment. And then again, I have just been told by my regional commander that the vehicle has been intercepted by the Doja police, and that was this morning, just a spot close to the police station. And so that's the progress we have made on this incident.
So we found the vehicle, as in the police has found the vehicle which they stole.
Exactly.
But there are no linkages at this point between that one and who caused and who the perpetrators are.
Unfortunately, it was the vehicle that was left at the spot close to the police station. And then we were able to put our stuff together and know that, okay, this is the same vehicle the Honorable former MC was sitting in, or the same vehicle that was bolted away yesterday by these three suspects who are presently on the run. And so, yes, it's just a vehicle we have been able to locate. It's meanwhile been impounded at the Doja police station for further investigation.
Well, are there any hints?
For now, no.
Okay.
For now, no. But the assurance is that we'll do everything possible. I am quick to add that this is not going to be our work alone. We are only going to be in the lead, but would appeal to all those that would, as a result of what has happened, be some way, somehow affected by it, help us with information that could lead, if not today, to the arrest of these perpetrators sometime tomorrow or even later in the day.
Thank you very much. ASP Juliana Obing is the Tema Police PRO.